Grace, grace. Good morning, Kingdom people. Shalom, Shamayim. What's good with you? I pray all is well in this first work day. That you accomplish much this week. That you gain in victory, gain in experience, gain in wisdom, gain in knowledge. This is Terrence Frederick, Kingdom Media Foundation. Just came on here real quick to talk to you about the warfare of unlearning. The war of unlearning. We as progressive people, we as a people who desire to be on the cutting edge of knowledge, wisdom, revelation, charismatic people, Pentecostal people, kingdom people, prophetic people, however you want to say it, apostolic people, we're always getting information, and we will say it's new information, fresh manna, fresh bread from on high, whatever the case may be. A lot of times, the majority of our growth comes from unlearning. It comes from relearning. It comes from doing the things we were taught. And when you're something new for the first time, that's one thing. When you unlearn, you have what you previously believed. When you have what you thought was real, that's when it gets heavy. That's when it's hard to do. And a lot of what we have going on in our system is we like to hear people say what we already believe and affirm what we already know, and so that we're never challenged and increased, and we're never admonished to grow when we do that. But one of the ways that you can know that you're growing, one of the ways that you can know that you're increasing, is when you're exposing yourself to information that challenges you to such a degree that your mind will fight against it. We like to think that we're rational people, that we're reasonable people, that we are intelligent people, but whenever we hear information that disagrees or that contradicts, that contends with what we believe we already know, there's a war that breaks out in our mind. It comes from our survival mind, our mind that was built, as a part of our mind that was built to allow us to stay alive and to keep us feeling safe, and to alarm us when we feel like we're being threatened, when we feel like our lives or our world is being threatened. So we start getting these alarms saying, hold up, this is an intruder, this is an invader, this might threaten my livelihood, or it might threaten my safety, my comfort. But we don't really truly get into real knowledge, real learning, until we feel uncomfortable, until we expand and we get to the borders of our comfortability, we get to the borders of our understanding and our knowledge, and we're stretching that when we begin to start stretching for real, you feel that you might even experience stress, physical stress, when you really start interacting with information that will change your life, or when you really start interacting with information that challenges where you currently are. When I get books, and whenever I read posts, and whenever I get a magazine, if the only thing I'm doing is reaffirming what I already believe, then yes, I'm strengthening my ideas in that. I'm strengthening them, reinforcing them, but they all could tumble to the ground if they were contended, if I am not also referencing things that oppose those ideas, or if I'm not referencing other nuances of that that idea. What I'm saying is, we can't just read things that reinforce what we already know. We have to understand what it is that we don't know. And we have to challenge the things that we know sometimes to see if it is something that is real or if it's just something that is familiar. And it takes warfare to do that. For the rest of our lives, we'll be unraveling from certain things that we were taught from other people. I'm not saying that everything that we were taught is a lie, but saying that we know in part, we prophesy in part, and I would like to say we teach in part. So as we get information, at the same time, we got to understand that information is not full. That information is not without error. That information is not without flaw. We have to find where the flaw is. And at times, the flaw is connected to a network of flaws, which is connected to a system of ideologies, which is connected to a branch of teaching and philosophy and understanding. And in order to really, you ever tried to uproot, you ever tried to take up some roots in your yard, or you just thought you were pulling up one thing, but then you start pulling up a whole network of root systems that were connected. You didn't even see that they were connected. You didn't even know they were connected. But then you begin to start seeing how deep that root system is. That's how it is with learning and unlearning. We begin to start dealing with something, and if we can embrace an idea, then we have to understand there are so many sub-ideas that are connected to that. So I'm not talking about learning a skill, learning a trade, learning something in the physical, but I am really talking about learning things that impact our worldview, learning things that impact our ideology. I'm talking about learning things that impact our perception of reality, things that impact our moral compass. We begin to learn even our theology, how we see God. Those things, those are the things right there that our natural inclination is to resist the information. Now we say, oh yes, I want to hear something new, I want to learn. Yes, until you hear something that opposes what you already thought. And understand, the more learned we are, the harder it is to learn. Because the more learned we are, we feel like we know. But we got to understand that knowledge is as infinite as the universe and all the galaxies. Knowledge has so many sides to it. That's why in wisdom, that's why the scripture says the manifold wisdom of God. If you break that down, manifold, M-A-N-I, like many, fold, that's different creases, that's different sides. So you have the many-sided wisdom, the wisdom of God from all sides. When you start dealing with knowledge, there's so many aspects of things that we don't see. The fact that we see one thing means, just by virtue of our proximity, that we do not see the other thing behind it. Even if we're not looking at it 2D, even if we're looking at it in 3D, there's something that is missed. And this is why we've been given two eyes. Again, two eyes because one eye helps us to see, but two eyes helps us to have depth perception. So we can look at things and see the distance that they are from us, to see where they are while we are in motion. You know what I'm saying? To get a more of a panoramic view of an object. In the same way, in the spirit, you need two more than you need one, and you need a multitude of counselors in order to walk in success. And so it's very important that we understand that it takes warfare to learn something new. And when I say learn, I mean to where it replaces your ideology, it replaces your foundation. So let's just use salvation for example. For a person that needs salvation, talk to them about Jesus. But if in their mind they see a blonde-haired, blue-eyed Jesus, and they connect Jesus to the slave master who enslaved their people, and if their interaction with Kemetic teachings and learning about the pharaohs and learning about the gods of the pharaohs, and they're talking about and they're learning about the different virgin births that happened prior to Mary giving birth to Christ, and they're learning about Isis and Osiris, and they're learning about Amun Ra, and they're learning about all these things. It's going to take warfare for them to unlearn what they think they know about Jesus, so that they can get a fresh presentation of who he is and not their version of who he is. Same thing, you're talking to a Jehovah's Witness and they believe that Christ is the angel, is the archangel Michael, and you beginning to preach Christ as the Son of God, the eternal living Word who was incarnate, manifested in the flesh. You begin to start teaching that, but they already have the mentality of who Christ is. They already have a doctrine. They already have a theology. They already have strongholds to defend their ideas. So it takes warfare for them to unlearn. That's why we have to pray. You can't just witness. You got to pray for people. You got to ask the Lord to saturate their hearts. You got to ask him to saturate their minds, so that they would be able to receive the word of the kingdom. The scripture talks about how the seed of the kingdom, when it's sown on stony ground, when it's sown on thorny ground, when it's sown on treaded ground, all those different things. You got to understand that. So the condition of the heart is important, because it takes warfare to unlearn what you think you know. But then when they come back, use Jehovah's Witness for example, they come back and say, well, you don't even acknowledge that the scripture talks about Christ as an angel. You say, no, Christ is not an angel, he's the Son of God. But then you see, then you're taken to studies that talk about the angel of the Lord, and reference the Christophanies, the theophanies, and the pre-incarnate expressions of Christ in the Old Testament. So if your argument is just, Christ was not called an angel, and then they show you where he was referred to as an angel, see, that will mess you up. So as we learn, what is my point with that? As we learn and as we teach others, we have to also understand that every interaction with learning and teaching others requires for us to learn and unlearn. Because as we teach, we begin to understand what we did not know. And as we step out there and reveal and share knowledge we encounter people who have more knowledge than us, and we have these encounters with them, and they stretch us, they stretch our understanding, and they stretch our mentality, and they send us back to the lab. I remember some of my greatest growth opportunities was me trying to school somebody, and as I tried to school them, they schooled me. Now they didn't change my faith. They definitely changed my presentation of the faith, and they also changed my studying habits, so that I can go deeper and not be surface. Yeah, there's some real deep people that are lost out there in the world. Yeah, I see this is breaking up right now, so I'm about to stop it. But yeah, there's a lot of deep people in the world that are sincerely lost. Sincerely lost, and there are a lot of intelligent people who think on genius level, but they still don't know who God is. And the only thing you do with that is pray for them. But what we can do as children of the Most High is commit ourselves not only to learning, but we can commit ourselves to unlearning. And it's a lifelong challenge, and it's an adventure, because you find out so many things that you thought you knew about the Word that are not true. And then you find out so many things just in life, about the world in altogether, that challenge what you were raised up with, what you were taught. You do realize that most people have very limited mentalities based on their family upbringing, what they've been taught about people, what they've been taught about the world. Very, very limited. So they have to be exposed. We have to be exposed to other ways of thinking, other ways of processing. And it's warfare. It takes warfare to learn. And it takes more warfare to unlearn. So I just want to challenge you to be bold today find something that you can unlearn and embrace the truth that you find.